Alright, so good morning. This is day 2 of my doubles trip, which I've delivered the first set of these trailers last night in Oklahoma City, so I've only got one on behind me now, which is awesome because I'm going way down into Texas, down south of Temple to a little town called Salado, where this one's gonna find its new home. Trying to get everything situated here. Okay, that looks pretty good. As you can see, it's just morning. Just now getting to be morning. The sun's coming up. It's not up over the horizon yet, but it's coming up. And what I'm doing today is I'm taking a completely different route down to Salado. I've tried it a couple of different ways to get down there before, but what I did last night, since I had the time to do it, I sat down and plotted a course, trying to make it as straight of a line as I could make it from here to there, and I got it whittled down to 299 miles. And so that's the course we're taking today. Normally I would go over, if I was just going to take the standard way, I would go over through Fort Worth and down I-35 all the way through Hillsboro and Waco and Temple, and then end up down at Salado. I don't want to be anywhere near I-35. I will have to get on it for the last 2 or 3 miles of my journey today, because the place I'm delivering to sits right off of I-35, so I have to do that. But I'm going to try and make it as straight of a line from here as I can down to there, because it's basically due south of me. So there's no reason for me to go clear over to the east to Fort Worth and then back to the west. It just doesn't make any sense. Unless I was in a big hurry, you know. This will take me about an hour longer than going that route would, I guess. Maybe. It may not either. It may be less time because I won't have to sit on the interstate in the traffic jam in Dallas. So, you know. Whew. So I stopped and got a cup of coffee, got my diesel. I'm actually buying fuel at the Dunkin' Y these days. They've got the best price around here for some odd reason. It's kind of weird. But Bill noticed something. We used to go in there and eat every once in a great while. But they got bought out by Valero here a while back. And then somebody came in and bought out all the actual chain of Chisholm Trail convenience stores. And what he noticed is the place is filthy now. So the new management evidently doesn't have their people in there doing things like cleaning the men's room. From what he said, the men's room was filthy. And we haven't been back since, as far as going in there to eat, or not in the men's room to eat, but going to their to the cafe part to eat. But we've got a new little restaurant up on the north side of Marlow that is actually really good. We went in there, right after Bill started making his recovery from the blood clots. We went in there and had lunch one day, and that was really good. It was like home cooked food. They actually had beans and taters and cornbread on the menu. That's what I had. Their potatoes were mushy, not really what I would call fried potatoes. They're overly cooked potatoes, but the beans and the cornbread were pretty good. So, you know. But they just have real food, which is kind of nice, instead of having these little boutique-y sandwiches and shit for 20 or 30 bucks. They've got real food. So I'm really, really happy this morning because I got my hair in a little bit of a French braid, and it's staying. It's long enough now that I can get it all braided back. Thank God. Now I can keep it out of my way. It'll look decent while I'm working. More decent than it had been looking, like all that. Don't need that going on. And I have no idea what's going to happen this afternoon, if I am going to get another load or whatever. So I never know. I may not, but I do bring my overnight bag just in case. Either way. If I need it, I'll have it. And if I don't need it, it's no harm. It doesn't take me anything to set it in the truck. So anyway, that's kind of the recap on what I'm doing this morning. So this trailer I've got on, it's just a little kind of a V-front, pointy nose, bumper pull horse trailer. And it pulls, it's like not having anything back there actually. So it's not high stress like pulling the doubles was yesterday. Takes all the stress right out of it. It's pretty great. So my first objective, their first town on my list to go through today is Bowie, Texas. And from Bowie, I'm going to head south. Instead of getting on 287 and heading over toward Decatur, which I normally do if I've got business in Decatur or whatever, I'm going to go on south through Bowie and head down to Jacksboro. And from Jacksboro, I'm going to go on down to Mineral Wells and then down to Stevensville. Now, I was in Stevensville last week delivering a trailer to the customizers. But today is just going to be another point on the map for our straight of a route as I can make it. And then from there, I'm not sure. I got to look at my GPS. I've got a couple of farm to market roads figured in there. They're just small highways. But I'm not pulling a big trailer, so I can get by with that. It's not gravel roads or anything. But we'll eventually dump out at a little town called Belton. And Belton is just northwest of where I'm delivering this trailer by a 3 miles. A few miles maybe, it's not very far. So anyway, that's what's on the agenda for today. And I want to get down there as soon as I can get this delivered, so if they've got anything else down in that region I can pick up, maybe I'll have time to swing by and grab it or whatever. If not, I'll still have time to come home. Because it should take me about 5 hours to get this down there. Alright, I'm back. Touching base with Bill. One of our chickens was misbehaving this morning. Danita Benita. She's a pill. She's a little white Amberlin can. And she's always been real vocal. She coos all the time and talks all the time. She used to complain all the time. She used to, when she was real little, she's like, cheep, 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 beep, 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 beep. Making little crying sounds all the time. She's just a talker. Well, last night, I was so tired when I got home, I didn't even think about chickens. And Bill was out doing something in the garage, and he wasn't thinking about chickens. So by the time we got out to put him to bed, the hens were all backed up at the gate of the kennel, and the boys were all sitting up on top of their kennel boxes, and Jack was in the hen house. So we had to run out there and pin the boys up in their kennel boxes, and then open the gate so the hens could get into the hen house and go to bed. Well, we were missing Danita Benita. Looked all over for her. Finally, I found her. She was sitting over kind of by the greenhouse up on a box. And she's sitting there and she was like half asleep. Her head was hanging down. She was a little nervous, because she wasn't in her normal place. So I got a hold of her, picked her up, stuck her under my arm, and she was just kind of like tucked into me. Usually she'll fight me, she's like, oh, don't pick me up, I can do this on my own. But this time she cuddled in, she's like leaning on me. So I got her up in the coop, and she's all happy. She was the last one out, so we got them all put to bed. Well, this morning, I guess, Bill let him out, and he followed her into the greenhouse. We keep their food and stuff in there, and he goes in there in the mornings and gets scoops of their food and put out for them. And she followed him in there. He had to chase her around the greenhouse like 5 times to catch her so he could get her out of there. She wanted to stay in there. He's like, no, you gotta go. She's like, no, I'm being stubborn. I'm not gonna leave. She's a character. She's cool. She's getting to be my favorite chicken, I think. Of the new ones. Her and Pete's are my favorite of the new ones. Of course, Big Hen is my all-time favorite because she's the last of our original hens. So she's got to be like 3 or 4 years old. But she's one of the original ones that would get up and sit on my shoulder when they were little babies. They'd hop up and all sit on me. The new ones don't do that. Of course, I don't invest myself in the new ones like I did the first batch, because then they started dying off, and there's only one of those left now, so I don't get that attached to them. I learned. Even if you don't plan to eat them, something might, like a coyote, because we've had a few of them taken by coyotes over the years. And then they just die. I mean, sometimes they just mysteriously die. You go out and find them dead in the coop in the morning. Things like that. So I've learned not to get so attached to them. But I'm a little bit attached to them now. And the roosters, I get along with the roosters really well. Because I had to handle them the whole time Bill was sick. I had to go out and catch them every day and put them in their beds at night so the girls could go in. We have to keep them separate, so it sucks for everybody, really, but the hens are happier not being jumped on all the time. And I can't find anybody to take these roosters. Roosters are hard to get rid of, so I decided, well, they're just going to have to be pet roosters, I guess. So they get treats like the hens do. They just don't get to run wild outside of the kennel. Because if I let them out, they'll just go start jumping on the hens and hurting them. They're just too big. They're a little rough. This is all because of one hen that they all are in love with. Well, not all of them, but 2 of our roosters are madly in love with this one hen, so they won't leave her alone, this little hen. And Jack jumped on her so much last year that her feathers all wore off her back, so she finally grew her feathers back this year after we started locking the roosters up. So I'm not subjecting her to that anymore. She doesn't need to have to worry about getting jumped on every time she moves. That's what they were doing, jumping on her multiple times a day. It's like, leave her alone, for God's sake. So now they leave her alone because they can't get to her. I don't let them have access anymore. Well, Bill doesn't either. We don't. So now we got pet roosters. So every night I got to put them in their little kennels. So one of the things Bill's got to do is build another roost house for the roosters. And it's got to have 3 compartments because we've got 3 roosters, and you can't have them in together. Evidently, if you do, they'll fight in the mornings when they wake up. They may get along the rest of the day in the kennel, out walking around and stuff. They fuss a little bit, chase each other around some. They don't just out and out fight, but in the mornings they get cranky and bossy, and they can and will fight in the mornings. If if they wake up in there together, they're liable to get mean with each other. So he's got to build a 3-door. It's crazy the stuff he builds. He's got to build a 3-door, like a coop, where we can get them with little deals so they can get up in their beds at night, so they know where to go roost. Because right now, like last night, they were up on top of their kennels, but they didn't go in the kennels because the doors weren't open for some reason. And so they didn't go in their kennels to roost. So we had to catch them and stuff them in there before we could let the girls in. But it'd be nice if we had, a coop that had a ramp so they could get up and then go up to their own door. Hope that bird got out of the way. Looked like he went down under the front of the truck. Doggone it. But anyway, it would make it simpler, and they need a warm place this winter. They need something that's a little bit insulated and out of the wind, so he's going to have to make them a regular coop. Fortunately, we got time, for him to do it. He doesn't have to do it today. And if he doesn't feel like doing it, I'm going to have to figure out how to do it, which will be probably pretty. I could build probably a pretty sad excuse for a coop. I'm not a builder. I can screw things together, but I don't have the patience or the strength to deal with that kind of stuff. I mean, big boards and stuff, I don't like messing with that. The closest I've ever gotten to actually building anything in the real world is I built the wall in between my bathroom and the laundry room, and in between between the closet and the bathroom when we were remodeling this house. So I took the old floor plan and threw it out on the east end of the house and turned the dining room into a bathroom and a walk-in closet. It was a very tiny dining room. I mean, it was like 10 feet by 6 feet or whatever, 7 feet maybe. And the old kitchen got turned into the laundry room. So putting up the walls in between there, I built the wall in the bathroom myself. That's as close to building anything as I've ever gotten, and I'm not very good at it, but I did manage to get that done. And it hasn't fallen down yet, so I guess I did okay. Seems pretty solid. But as far as like building like cool boxes and stuff, I'm just not. I'm hoping he'll feel like doing it. I think he is feeling a lot better, because I think he's finishing up building just a little hen box. He builds these little hen boxes. They're not very big, but they've got a lid on a hinge so that the hens can get up in there and lay their eggs, because they can't get in the coop during the day the way we've got it configured, because the roosters are in the kennel, which is the yard to the coop. So they can't go in the coop now and lay in the nesting boxes. They never laid in there much anyway. They didn't act like they really wanted to. So, let's see. Yeah, I got 9 more miles. Just making sure my logistics here. So he's replaced an old one. There was an old one on there that he was saying his dad put the plywood on the top of that one. What it is, it's an old iron sewing machine stand base, like the old wrought iron bases. And his dad had put a piece of plywood on the top to make a table out of it, and then Bill put a box on top of that for the cats to go in the winter, to get out of the weather if they were outside. And he said he did that in Colorado, so that's pretty old. It's at least 15, 20 years since he built that box. Well, it's getting pretty ratty, and it doesn't have a hinged lid on it, but the chickens do get up in there every once in a while and lay an egg, so we got to reach in there. I'm always afraid I'll reach in there and get a snake or something, because you can't, it's pretty deep and you can't reach back in there, you can't see real well. So he built a new box to go on top of that. I think he just finished it up. Finished painting it this morning, maybe. So that'll be kind of cool. So maybe the next project he'll do it be the 3-door rooster hutch, coop, or whatever you want to call it. Because if they have to wait for me to build it, they're going to have a wait, and then it won't be as nice as what he'll build. He built our chicken coop, and the chicken coop itself is, I think, it's either 6 or 8 feet deep. I think it's 8 feet deep, because I think he used the whole sheet of plywood, maybe. about 4 foot across. And it sits up off the ground, so the doors are like waist level on me, which is about, I don't know, 40 inches off the ground. And so that stuff can't get up in it like skunks or possums or whatever. And the floor is insulated. And it's weather tight, and it's got a couple of windows. It's actually got 3 windows. Well, it's got 2 windows and then a vented door that has, in the winter we put a pane of plexiglass up over the door end of it, and we can close the windows and they seal, keep the wind off the chickens. And it's sturdy enough that for the last couple of winters when it got really super cold, I think 2 years ago our winter, we got down to like 10 below zero for like 2 or 3 weeks. It was cold, really cold. Doesn't happen that often down here, but it did the last couple of years. It's gotten really cold, and with a little heater in there, we can maintain the heat at about 45 degrees, maintain the temperature at about 45, which is, I guess, about optimal for chickens, as long as they don't have wind blowing on them. That's a crucial thing, I guess. But it'll keep them, at a livable temperature. If you get them too warm, their feathers thin out, and then they will freeze. They will freeze. So you can't heat them up too much, evidently, in the wintertime. I don't know. I'm not a chicken expert. This is all stuff I've learned from Bill. So, but he's going to have to do a similar thing for the roosters. Something that has ventilation in the summer, but we can close up in the winter and heat. So it'd probably be ideal if it's like one big box with just like some kind of wire separations between the roosters, like mesh, 1/2-inch mesh or whatever, or even screening, something that'll just keep them from, getting at each other. Divide them up in their own, each of them will have their own place. So we've got water bottles we can hang in there. I'm having trouble hanging them in the kennels because the kennels move around and the water spills, and that's a big mess. But once it's something stable, we'll be able to set their water bottles up on blocks or something so they won't be tipping and spilling. Then they can have water in there with them all the time. So, but I'm not skilled enough. I guess I could. If I had the materials and I had the time, I could do it. But I'm kind of afraid of saws and things. I don't want to saw off a finger. People do. I don't want to be one of those. I like my fingers where they're at. I like them on my hands. I like having all of them, all 10. I'm greedy. I want them all. So I'm a little nervous about saws and stuff. I got that way doing the trimming on this house. I put in all the trim that's in our house right now, but I didn't finish it. There's a room and a half left that need to be done. I got scared of the table saw and quit doing it because it kicked back on me, and I thought I was going to get hurt doing it, so I quit doing it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. Just don't want to lose a limb or a finger or whatever. I really don't want to get cut on that freaking saw, or have a board come up and hit me in the face or something. I really don't want any of that kind of activity happening. So I'm just not digging the whole idea anymore. I'm not one of those people who enjoys working with power tools. Don't like them. It's the uncontrollable factor about them that I don't like. You do something just a little bit off or a little bit wrong, and it can have catastrophic consequences. Like having a board kick up and hit you in the mouth, whatever. Don't really want to deal with any of that. No, thank you. Okay, some kind of a little lake here. We're just north of Jacksboro, Texas. A couple more miles and we'll be turning onto Highway 281. So we've been heading a little bit southwest, a little bit south this whole thing, and the road kind of zigzags around a little bit, as you can tell. You know, lots of curves and turns. Now we'll turn and head, I think, primarily south, down through Mineral Wells and Stevensville. This is as straight of a shot as I could make out of all these little roads. Just looking at it last night without getting off on little bitty county roads and stuff. I didn't want to do too much of that. There's one area down here I'm going to get onto a little farm to market road, a couple of them, and they're paved highways. I was able to zoom in on them and look and see. That's something I really like about Google Earth, or Google Maps anyway, because you can actually take a real look and see what kind of surface a road has. You know, I'm not opposed to dirt roads or gravel roads, but when I'm hauling a brand new trailer, I don't want to get on a gravel road and tear it up or dust it up or have gravel pop up from behind my tires and hit the front of the trailer and ding it up. You know, none of that. Don't want to be doing that kind of thing. So it's kind of critical for me to be able to know what kind of roads I'm going to be driving on. The important thing. Got to slow way down. Way down. There we go. Now I'm compliant. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm on a back road, on a farm to market road in Texas, taking a shortcut. The road's great, but I just got stopped and told to get the hell off the road. not in those words. There's a super wide load coming through that's taking the whole road. So they were like, get as far off as you can, we're taking the whole thing. I'm like, okay. So I'm curious to see what's coming up the road here. I guess we'll find out together. Dude was nice. I mean, he wasn't jerky about it at all. This must be one of the, I don't know if that's like a motorcycle cop or what the heck. Another one coming behind him.
He's about a half a mile or so behind me.
Okay.
The wide load.
All right.
Did I already tell you about it?
He said get off the road.
Yeah. And it's on its way.
Okay, am I good? Am I far enough?
Huh?
Am I far enough out?
I'm so I can hear you.
Am I far enough over?
Oh yeah, you're plenty.
Okay, awesome. All right, thanks. Wow, a 3-cop escort. These are police. This is some kind of a big thing. About a half mile behind this guy, he said, so it's coming. These guys are having fun. They're not having to pull people over and write tickets today. Out riding their bikes in the sun, having a fun time. Here it comes. I don't know what this behemoth is, but it is damn big. I'm going to count the axles under this thing because there's a bunch of them. Another motorcycle cop behind him with a couple of escort cars. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 escort cars and 4 motorcycles with this. That's a lot of escort. This is a big thing. This is kind of funny because this road was rated for 58,000 pounds. So I don't know how much that thing weighs, but look at all these axles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 15 axles under that beast. My gosh. I think that might have exceeded their weight limit. This is a weight rated farm to market road. But who knows? I don't know. But how cool, huh? This is the kind of stuff you see when you get off the interstate. That didn't take long. It was about, I don't know, 4 minutes. 3-4 minutes of sitting. This cutoff saved me 10 minutes, so I'm still 7 minutes ahead of schedule, but I've seen some pretty good scenery coming through here. So I imagine we'll see some more scenery going down the other side. There's like a little pass through here. We're deep in hill country right now. So we've got some tight turns and some hilly hills and some spectacular views. This is nothing you're going to see from the interstate, that's for damn sure. You will not see this from the interstate. Make sure I'm still mic'd up. I am. Texas Hill Country. Gotta love it. What's not to love? This is a farm to market road. And what these are, they're just paved highways. They're just not very big. But it's literally the farm to market system that they've set up with their roadways down here. I used to think of them as county roads, but they're really not. They're bigger than a county road. They're actually a highway. They just don't have tremendously wide shoulders on them. Most of them. Some of them do. Make sure I got 9.4 miles to Highway 36 South. Okay. Cool. This is going all right. Little rough in spots, but every highway I've been on has been rough in spots, so it's not like this is anything different. And I'm about an hour out from delivering this, I think. I think I'm 60 miles out. So just about an hour, and then off to Illinois I go. I never know from day to day where I'm going to be going. It's always a mystery. Kind of a crapshoot. But this will be all right. This will keep me occupied till Friday, and then I can drop that and go home. Probably not work again till next Wednesday, I'm going to guess, because I have to be home Tuesday. So, unless they've got a local load for me Monday, I probably won't be going anywhere till next Wednesday after all this. But I've still got a lot of this left to do. I got to get up to Illinois after I drop this, and then take a trailer back down to Mount Pleasant, Texas, which is over in East Texas. It's up not too far from Texarkana, that region. Alright, so I'm about 8 miles away from getting this trailer delivered. Down here at Salado, south of Temple. I'm basically kind of in the southern part of Temple right now. And I've got 7 miles to my exit, 283. Which I'm going to take this time. I'm not going to wait and take the next one. Live and learn. So, a few minutes we'll get in here, hopefully, and get this thing delivered. And then I can concentrate on figuring out how to get to the part of Illinois I need to get to in the most efficient manner. And I'll probably run up to Buc-ee's and fuel up there. I noticed fuel's pretty reasonable down in this area, so Buc-ee's might have a good price. And they've got a great big store, and grab some groceries. I didn't bring groceries because I didn't expect to be out for overnight. I'm lucky I brought my overnight bag because I almost didn't bring it. But better sense prevailed, thank goodness. And I did grab it. So I've got the stuff I absolutely require for the next 3 days. Yeah, I'm still yawning, I know. So there's backs up north of Bucky's on the north side of Temple. So I'll probably run up to the north side of Temple. Maybe, I don't know. I've got to actually look at maps, see which way is better for me to get out of here without having to run on I-35, because I really don't want to do that. But it wouldn't be horrible, I guess, to run up I-35 a little ways. If I could get off of it up by Waco or something, that wouldn't be so bad. I could probably do that and not totally hate it. It's moving pretty well today here, so evidently Austin's not real backed up right now, or it would be here. And Austin's a long way down the road, actually. It's quite a ways down there. But I don't understand how it all works. I just know this is a miserably wretched place to be when they're having backups in Austin, because then they back up, clear up this far. Crazy. Austin's 56 miles. Yeah. Salado, 4 miles, 5 minutes. Right. And I'm going 4 miles. Salado, next 4 exits. So evidently I've got the last Salado exit. I was thinking Salado was actually south of this place, but it must be on the north side of it. Which, you know, I've got the 4th exit and there's 4 of them. That's what it would be, because I'm heading south. Three and a half miles. 283. Trying to remember this exit number so I don't do anything stupid. Don't need to do anything stupid today. I'd rather not. Had my dumb blonde moment yesterday morning, so I got that out of the way, hopefully for the rest of the week. No offense to you dumb blondes, no offense intended. I'm sorry, I'm a brunette. Well, I used to be a brunette, now I don't know what the hell I am. I can't tell what color my hair is anymore. It's not really blonde. Not that you would notice that, right? Not that you would know it. It's 2 more miles. This just baffles me why they don't have a driveway open on that north side. So it forces you to drive 2 miles farther to loop down and come back to it. I just don't get it. They've got the land access to do it. It looks like at one time they had a driveway in the back, but they've since closed it off. So, I don't know. Seems a little weird. But what do I know? Sure, they've got the reason for doing or not doing what they do. Okay, 1 more mile. Yep. There's my exit. I can see the trailer place. We're getting there. It's a mile away from me, but I have to drive 3 miles to get to it, so. Wacky thing. Wacky thing. Market 2115, exit 283. actually made a little better time than I thought I was going to make, so that's kind of a bonus. It's literally right over there, but I have to go clear around to get to it. It's dumb. It's really dumb. Annoying. But I'm not gonna go tell them I think they ought to put in a driveway, because they'd probably tell me not to come back if I want to criticize their layout. That's too much of an imposition for you to go around the block. I guess you can not deliver to us anymore. I could see somebody saying something like that. I won't say that to them. I won't even hold it against them. I just think it's weird. It could be that they had a problem with people getting in there at night before they closed off the back of it. I could see that as being an issue. Or it could be that they don't own the land on the north side of them. There's a strip there that they can't cross or something. I mean, who knows? Could be anything like that. So we're just going to run on this service road, run on around to the next crossover and go back up. At least I did it correctly this time. I didn't miss this exit and then have to go down another 5 or 6 miles and then, yeah, like I did last time. That was a pain in the butt. Major pain in the butt. So this, by comparison, is not all that bad. It's not anywhere near as bad as that stupidity. Talk about the stupid things people do again. That was a stupid thing to do that day. I think that's a rest area right there. I think that's what that is. Yeah, it is. It's a rest area. I think I remember going around the back side of it on the other side of the road. Coming back up the last time when I overshot it. Totally blew it. Okay, so the first thing I got to do when I get up here is fill out my ticket. And I need to find a block and detach from it. They may come running out when they see me come in. If they do, I'll ask them for a block instead of going hunting for one on my own. If they've got them, they'll know where they're at. If they don't have them, we'll figure something else out. I don't know what, because I don't have any in my truck, I don't think. But like I say, that's something, if you set it down under a trailer, that's where it stays, because you can't pick the trailer up off of it once you've got the block under the jack on it. It's just one of those deals. Okay. So we got to get up here past the Bloomers factory. The old Bloomers trailer, people. This is where they make some of them anyway. This bay doors over here on the right that you're seeing. That's the Bloomers factory. Bloomers trailers. We're not going there. We're not going there at all. We're going up here to the trailer sales facility. I don't know if they sell Bloomers or not in here. Yeah, I guess they do. They got one right there. What do you know? Okay. Now there's a trailer parking here where I would have probably dropped this one, so somebody else delivered one. I'm going to come right over here, do my ticket, and drop this baby over here out of their way. It's a good spot for it right there, I bet. They're usually pretty good about just wherever you want to drop it. Okay, I've got to get this done though. Required thing done. Okay. Okay, so right fuel surcharge. 140. Okay, got that. Oh. Ah, they're in here looking at it already. Here. Get my logbook entry delivered. And 1240. Out here. Sweet. This was quick and not even dirty. Quick and clean. Gotta love it. It goes back in its spot. Don't have any problems finding stuff when I need it. Including microphones. Now I'm going to actually reinstall my actual GPS for this since I'm going to be venturing away from my normal area and I might actually need it. Where to? Decatur. Illinois. $782 miles as a crow flies. So it's definitely 2 days worth of driving just to get up there. Well, 2 partial days. Well, no. Yeah, 2 partial days. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and turn around and show you this trailer I just dropped off here. This was the the little one behind my bigger gooseneck from yesterday. And actually the trailer that's sitting behind it is similar to the size of the one that I had behind this truck yesterday. So this is the little trailer I just dropped off. And that's about the size of the one that was in front of it on the truck yesterday. Okay. Off we go. Ah, sweating. How can I be sweating? It's only 96 degrees out. Only.
New text message from Mickey Star 32.
No hurry, just whenever you can. Thank you. All right. So I guess I'll run up here to Buc-ee's since I know where that is. That's as good a place to plan from as any in this area. So I'll just go clear back up through Temple. So I'm on the south side of Temple still, relatively speaking. Okay, I'm back. It didn't take too long. Even though it's a mile in there to the bathroom. Hiking in. They didn't really have anything to drink. But I did get some food. So at least I won't starve the next day or two. Not exactly prime cuisine, you know, junk food. Well, as unjunky of junk food as I could get, kind of. with potato chips. You know, hey, sometimes you got to be realistic, right?